Tigers.
Awesome matchup tonight between Ohio Cardinal Conference rivals separated by just 13 miles in slightly different shades of orange. We've got Mansfield Senior in a heavyweight clash inside Arrows Arena against an Ashland squad seeking their 9th win in 11 tries. It's the Tygers and Arrows live and free and only on the OH Report. Coming your way next. Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakelymechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Key conference showdown in boys high school hoops tonight. League contenders Ashland and Mansfield Senior on the floor and ready for action. It's live, it's free. The video coverage tips off on the OH Report right now. Good evening, folks, and welcome inside of Arrows Arena. I'm Brian Skoronsky, joined tonight by the legendary coach Greg Collins. And, man, we got a fun rivalry. Neighboring communities here, Greg. Rich tradition of hoops, both with former players now running their programs. So I love that. Lots of passion out there on the floor and plenty of talent. There's a lot at stake, too, with the league. So this is just a great all-around matchup.
Well, it certainly is. Early in the season to get two teams that, I'm sure they both want to compete for a championship. Wooster is going to have a say in that. But, Brian, you're right. We have two coaches from their high schools that were great basketball players. And I had the fortune of coaching Marquise Sykes. And let me tell you, you talk about a leader. You talk about a guy that players are going to follow. They did when his teammates, and they do now as his players. Had a great career at Morehead State. And then Jason Hess had to coach against him. Great player, went on to Malone College and had a great career. So two great coaches, two great former players.
And I had the opportunity to speak with both of them before tonight's contest. Let's begin first with the audio from Jason Hess. I've got Arrows head coach Jason Hess with me now in his 6th season running the Arrows and off to a great start, looking for your 9th win here tonight. What would you say that you would most attribute this hot play for you here in the early portion of the season so far?
Well, I think our guard play has been very key for us with the guys we've had coming back from last year, the experience we got a year ago. But another thing that I think has really helped us has just been the consistency of playing games. This year, a lot of teams have had to deal with schedule cancellations and long periods without games. And fortunately for us, there's been nights where we didn't know who we were going to play until within 24 hours before the game, but at least we got game experience. And I think especially for high school kids, you can simulate anything you want to do in practice, but there's no substitute for game experience.
That's obviously been the case for your opponent tonight. Mansfield Senior just playing their third game here. Tell me about that rivalry, though. What does it mean to play the Tigers over here at Ashland?
Well, Mansfield is always the big game on the schedule for me. I grew up, played here in the late 90s, graduated in 2000, and I know those rivalries back and forth with Mansfield and Ashland. Several years we were second to them in the conference more than once, and it's one of those things that Mansfield has always been the big game for me, and we always get excited to play them. And I know they've only got a couple games under the belt, and Coach Sykes does a great job with his kids, so I expect it to be a very good game tonight.
All right, best of luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you just heard from Malachi Lewis and the Arrows Jazz Band honoring America there with their rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. And before that, you heard Jason Hess talking about those three guards that they have and how potent they've been throughout this season. And for Marquis Sykes, getting closer to being at 100%, still down two players tonight in Malachi Johnson and Avion Gross. But for the TY Tigers, it's all about just getting on the floor, playing some games. Here's what Marquis Sykes had to say when I caught up with him before tonight's game. I've got head coach for the TY Tigers, Marquis Sykes, with me now. And this is just going to be your third game, Coach. We're in the second week of January. Explain to the folks at home about some of the trials and tribulations for Tiger Hoops this year and just getting to this point in the season. How has it been?
Hey, we're just thankful to get to this point. We really didn't know if we were actually going to get here or not. We are here. This is game 3 for us. So let's get out here and get after it, and let's see where we at. No excuses, no nothing. Let's get out here and let's get after it.
This is such a cool matchup to me because Coach Hess, of course, played at Ashland. You played for your alma mater here. Tell me about just this matchup and the rivalry, Ashland and Mansfield. What's it mean to you?
Anytime we come over here, we expect a dogfight. I don't think tonight will be any different. We had a really good week of prep, so I'm excited to see how our guys are going to come out. We're not where we need to be yet, but we're getting there, so I'm excited to see where we're at tonight.
All right, best of luck, Coach. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
I've got Arrows. So there it is, both head coaches, both former players for these teams, and such a fun matchup that we have here tonight. Both starting lineups have been announced. Let's go ahead and take a look at those now. And, Coach, you were telling me before the game a couple of keys perhaps tonight. Points per possession for Mansfield Senior, and then also offensive rebounding going to be key on both sides for both teams.
Well, it is, Brian. A stat that a lot of teams keep is points per possession, especially in high school when there's no shot clock. You can have a game where teams want to slow the game down, keep the game in the 30s, and believe me, I've had enough of those this year, and you're going to have fewer possessions. Or a game like tonight, it looks like we're starting off with a technical. We got to find out what that's all about. But tonight, where it's going to be an up and down game, a lot of possessions for both teams. You would like to get to 1 point every possession, and the way Senior High can do that tonight, I believe, is by offensive rebounding. Worcester against Ashland had 20 offensive rebounds. Senior High has the guys. They can offensive rebound. A great way to get second chance, easy points.
Tigers do have some nice height inside. Emil Upchurch, the transfer, listed at 6'3", does a lot of nice work inside for them, along with D'Angelo Chapman, 6'6", as the first shot off the mark, but there's one of those offensive boards, and it sets up a 3-ball knocked down by Eli White.
And that's the best three-point shot. An inside-out pass, it's what you do in practice a lot of times with a coach. That's the best time to shoot a three-point shot, and Eli is obviously a dead-on shooter and stepped right in and hit it.
Mo Ware bullied his way inside. Bit too strong with the shot, so the Arrows pushing the pace back the other way.
And you'll see Ashland. They'll get up the court hard. They'll do a lot of transition. When they get to the half court, it's going to be a lot of motion. Try to keep the lane open, as we see right here, because they have the ability to dribble, penetrate, and to kick.
How about the defense, though, out on the perimeter? That was the junior Ware getting a hand on it. So the block shot outside leads to Creamer. Shad Creamer taking it to the tin, and the first offensive board for the Tigers sets up the second opportunity, and Trevin Hines delivers.
And again, offensive rebounding is going to be key for them, and Chapman did a great job keeping the ball alive, getting a second chance.
Here it is again, straight away. And the answer at the other end, Dembo knocks one down from outside.
Well, I said from the beginning I thought it was key for senior high to get offensive boards. Right now, Ashland's got 2 offensive rebounds, kickouts for good-looking threes.
It was Andrew Poole with the last offensive board for the Arrows, setting up that outside look that Dembo was able to convert. Here it's one and done for the Tigers. Off the drive, Dembo, nice pass in the lane.
Another inside-out pass.
And the three won't go this time from White.
You'll notice both teams want to keep the lane open. They both have the ability to dribble, penetrate. Ashland's going to look to dribble, penetrate, and kick. Senior High is going to look to dribble, penetrate, and maybe finish.
Here's another look at that triple from Dembo a couple possessions ago.
And that was a good inside-out pass and stepped right into a good three-point shooter.
Arrows right now with a 6-point cushion. Just over 2 minutes gone by here in the first as Hines can't drop the first free throw attempts.
Maurice Ware is right in front of us right now, and Maurice is one of those kids that can offensive rebound. He's averaging 6 offensive rebounds, or he has 6 for the season. It would be nice for Senior High, for Marquise, if he could get 4 or 5 offensive boards tonight.
Arrows attacking off the drive. Dembo got hit on the wrist as he released that shot, so he'll have a couple of free throws coming up.
Yeah, that was a good call. Maurice Ware swung down on it. He had good contest. Ashland's got very good shooters. You have to close out on the big three, as you talked about, as Coach Hess talked about, but you just want to contest shots. You certainly don't want to foul jump shooters.
The big three, of course, being Dembo, Eli White, and the sophomore Grayson Sturry. One of the few things White has not done well this year is shoot at the free throw line, or Dembo rather, just 60% on the season, and he missed both there.
And you look, he's a little disgusted. I'm sure it's mostly mental right now, but hey, you got to love it. Don't you love a guy that wears short, tight shorts? I mean, that's before you. It takes me back to my day. I love the throwbacks.
Just runs in the Dembo family. The last few that have played here for them, they roll up the shorts real tight, show off a little bit of thigh, Coach. I think it's not that bad a look.
Hey, when you're a player, you can dress how you want.
So here comes Ware. Thought better of using the screen.
Again, you see Senior High trying to leave the lane open, trying to get some dribble penetration. Against Madison, they had a difficult time finishing.
Here's a nice triple from Creamer.
And that also was an inside-out pass. And Shad's got the ability to knock down the three. He hasn't had a great season percentage-wise, but there he knocks it down.
Here's Sturry back the other way, shooting 55% from the land of three, and you see why right there. Beautiful touch.
The little bit I've watched Ashland, those three will not hesitate. They got an open shot. They're going to shoot it.
This foul's going to go against White. He actually thought that he took it away cleanly and then got fouled by Ware. Official saw it otherwise.
As a coach, I have an opinion, but it really never mattered. So why should it matter now?
That's a good point, Coach. I mean, you can argue with the officials all you want, but I've never seen an overturned call at the high school level.
Exactly right.
Creamer this time comes up short with the jump shot. Arrows with the defensive board. Dembo off the drive, now kick out. Sturry again, no hesitation, and he's 2 for 2 from the land of 3.
And it's dribble penetration and kick. This time they dribble penetrated, made a post entry, but the post right away, they're looking back out for the three-point shot.
That is where the Arrows are doing their damage right now, as we're at the midway point here of the first quarter. They've got an 8-point cushion and a block shot at the rim. Djurdjevic come over, harshly turned it away.
And we have to mention this is the first game that Ashland has started 2 bigs. They usually go with 4 smalls and 1 big. Tonight they're going with 2 bigs.
And one of the little guys, the smallest guy on the floor for Ashland, is starting to heat up. 3 straight buckets now for Grayson Sturry. Forces a timeout from the TY Tigers, who already trailing by double digits. Great start for Ashland.
Well, it is. And, you know, we talked about points per possession, and that's always a key. Offensively, you want to be at 1 point every time you touch the basketball. Another key tonight, though, is going to be a game of runs. You have 2 teams here tonight. Senior High over the years is known for a team of runs. They can create some offense from their defense. When they get hot, they can score 8, 10 straight points. Ashland certainly has that ability, as they've shown here tonight. In Ashland's games, one other fact. It's strange. You mentioned that Ashland's 8-2, 0-2 here. 0-2 at home. That doesn't happen very often. They've played a lot of road games. They're 0-2 at home. Yeah, you know that's not going to continue through the season. But again, back to the runs. It's going to be a game of runs. Who can limit the other team's runs? Right now, Ashland's on a run, limiting Senior High to 1 shot each time down and getting good looks themselves.
Athletic theft right there. Going up to make the play was Ware. Sends it to Kramer. He sends one from the corner, and it's rebounded by Dembo. Kick out, Sturry. Can he go 4 for 4? Not this time. But the Arrows with another offensive board.
And Ashland is just much more aggressive right now on the offensive end, the offensive boards especially.
Pull-up jumper from the foul line. Off target that time from Upchurch.
Emil Upchurch is a transfer in from Ontario, and he has the ability to hit that shot. And Coach Sykes says that he really improved his game over the summer.
How about a little mid-range J that time from Eli White, a 16-point-per-game scorer for the Arrows.
And a player that's already signed and set, ready to go to Spring Arbor. Very good NAIA school that's in the same league with Mount Vernon Nazarene.
Nearly the soft touch dropping in over the top of the rim there from Chapman. But it's another missed shot for the Tigers. They do hold the Arrows to 1 and done, though, this time.
I think Coach Sykes would like to see Senior High get to the basket. Yeah, they had 1 shot blocked, but, you know, their game is getting to the basket and then being aggressive on the offensive boards. And if you can break down the defense, make them rotate, you're going to leave some lanes for offensive rebounding.
Kramer traveled that time. Nice defensive positioning there by Dembo. Forced him to shuffle his foot. And so Ashland already with a 12-point lead in possession. White threw it away.
Again, though, you see the lanes open, dribble penetrate, look to kick.
Just like so, but Mansfield remaining icy cold at the offensive end. This time it's Brock Hill with the missed jumper.
They're just looking for anybody that can knock down that perimeter shot.
It's been a problem so far for Mansfield, knocking down the open three-pointer so far, but, you know, it's so young in the season that you hope that that will develop with more time and more game flow under their belt.
Well, you're exactly right, Brian, and you consider that they went weeks without being able to practice, without being into the gym. So, you know, these kids still don't have their mid-season or even early season legs under them. And you shoot so much from your legs that, you know, the better condition you're in, the more consistent shooter you're going to be.
That was something Coach Hess talked about a bit in the pregame, was the fact that they have not had to quarantine this season, and even though it's been a bit jumbled in terms of the schedule, they've had to pick up some games on short notice, basically 24 hours notice. The fact that they were still able to get on the floor has been huge for them, and that's a great take right there. Creamer dribbling his way all the way to the cup.
And that was a good move. Get the ball to the basket.
But back the other way so quickly, and White staying hot from outside. He's in double figures.
And they get up the court in a hurry. They got to match up. That's a tough shot right there. Good contest from Ashland. But, Brian, you're talking about Ashland not having to miss any games. What really amazes me is Coach Hess tells me that 2 of their players are on school online. The rest of them are in the classroom every day. That's amazing that they're in the classroom and still being able to stay away from the dreaded COVID.
Mansfield staying icy from outside, a missed 3. Sturry back the other way, bombs away. Ashland lighting it up from downtown.
And that was a great pass by Denbo, a three-quarters court pass. He saw the open man, and these guards are good, and they look for each other. They're unselfish.
Sturry and White both outscoring Mansfield all on their own. They are combining 21 points right now. But Bradley with a 2 at the other end of a good-looking drive.
Yeah, it was a good-looking drive. And the last 2 baskets by Senior High have been dribble penetration.
Last shot coming up here for Ashland. We'll see who takes it. Looks like it's going to be in the hands of Dembo. Gives it up the White. Deep one, but it finds the bottom. Taking them to the end of one with some emotion and some. Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up ShakelyMechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
It was an absolute offensive explosion dropped on Mansfield Senior here on the road. Ashland in total control. And how about this to finish up the first quarter, Greg Collins?
I tell you what, he's feeling it. That was from deep, and not bad defense, though. When time's running out, you really want to get pressure on him. But for the most part, Brian, that quarter, Ashland's three-point shots were uncontested. You got to get a hand up on the shooters.
Eli White right now leading all scorers. He's got a baker's dozen. Sturry with 11. And then for Mansfield, just kind of searching for some guys out here, looking for somebody who can take over offensively.
Well, exactly. And they bring in Anthony Pearson, the transfer from Walnut Ridge. He gets that 3. According to Coach, they're getting every bounce now. That's a shooter's bounce, home court bounce. But according to Coach Sykes, Anthony Pearson, number 23, is maybe their best perimeter shooter. And this is his first game he's played, and it's going to be interesting to watch him play tonight.
Bradley tried to thread the needle inside, tips out of bounds. Last touch, though, by Ashland. So Tigers will maintain possession. And how about those kicks?
Oh.
Those are fresh. Would you have worn those back in the day, Coach?
I was strictly white Converse, I think. Yeah.
At least
Chuck
you kept
Taylor's.
it fresh. Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
there you go.
Nice, good look. Even still today, the kids are rocking those.
Well, they are. Everything comes back in style, like the short shorts.
And how about Sturry with the short-range shot? Man, I don't know that he's missed yet.
I don't think he has. And, again, You give too much pressure. If you're out of control, they are going to dribble penetrate. You have to contest shots. And then second, cut down dribble penetration. And again, not all Ashland Arrows are three-point shooters. Those three especially that you've talked about, the big three, you've got to put pressure on. And you got to hit some shots down here.
Not happening right now for Mansfield, as they are in a serious drought at this point.
Well, I hope they, I know they're down 24 points and there's a lot of time left, and you can't rely on just the three-point shot right now because you haven't proven that you're three-point shooters yet. So just, you can go on some runs, get to the basket, but Ashland's doing a great job of not allowing second shots.
This one from real deep comes up short, though, from the hand of Pearson.
He does have a nice touch, though.
So the Arrows trying to stay hot. This time the mid-range J won't fall from Kessler Bates. Tigers, though, just cannot buy a bucket at this point.
And we had the game with Madison, and they had a hard time finishing at that time.
Ashland, though, missed their last two. And we're going to get a timeout on the floor. Coach Sykes wants to talk to his guys. And I think he can sense that, obviously it's a big lead here for Ashland, but it can really get away from them if they don't start picking it up offensively soon.
Well, I don't think Coach Sykes is happy with anything they're doing.
Sure.
Offensively, I think they're relying a little bit on the out perimeter shot. Now, with that being said, Chad Kramer can hit the three. Pearson the coaches say, can hit the three. So, yeah, if you have an open shot, go ahead and hit it. Other than that, let's look to get the ball to the basket and, again, get on the offensive boards. And then I'm sure he's not happy defensively either. Again, you got to pressure the shooters. You got to limit the second shots. And you also got to do a little bit of job of cutting down penetration where Ashland is dribble penetrating and then kicking out to good shooters.
Taking a look at our fan zone out here, and a lot of people chiming in the early going out there on Facebook and YouTube, so we appreciate everybody letting their voice be heard here on tonight's broadcast. And Ashland right now on pace to score about 100, but finally the Tigers break their slump.
And I have a feeling that came from the timeout from Coach Sykes. Let's get the ball to the basket. Maurice Ware does what he's a big, strong boy. He can get to the hoop, and he did, and he was able to finish.
Ware averaging 10 points per game. And how about Kramer from the backside, the shortest player on the floor, blocking the tallest in Djurdjevic, who's going to check out now. Poole replaces him, so 6'4" for 6'4". The Arrows maintain some nice height there.
And this is
inside.
how they usually play, with 4 out and 1 in. Tonight they had to go with 3 out and 2 in with 2 bigs because they're also missing a player. Dribble penetration, they hit Kessler Bates inside, and he takes it up strong and scores.
Pretty much all Luke Dembo right there, setting that thing up. See if Mansfield can start getting some consistent offensive play. Nice attack, and they'll at least get a couple of free throw attempts on the way from Bradley.
One thing I think, Brian, we notice here, and so much of it is senior high is still very early into their season, their practice time. When senior high has the basketball, the 4 players without the ball are standing and watching, which allows the defense to get in position and everybody stand and watch the ball. Ashland's getting much better movement off the ball, preoccupying occupying the players, the defensive players, thus giving the person with the basketball better dribble lanes, and they're able to get to the basket. The last couple of times that Maurice Ware has caught the ball, he's tried to go one-on-one, but the defense is ready. They're congested, and senior high is going to got to get a little bit better player movement.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect observation right now. A little bit too much one-on-one for Mansfield at the offensive end, whereas Ashland, like you said, it's been great ball movement that's led to some wide-open looks, particularly from outside where they've been able to knock them down. There's a great cut and a finish in the
great
lane.
out-of-bounds play.
Djurdjevic, his first 2 of the night.
There's a couple of drives. That's good. Keep the ball moving.
Kramer thought about the three. Now drives baseline. Jump stop. Lost his footing. Somehow was able to muscle that one up.
And again, it's difficult when you have players standing because the help defense is there. And that time, Shad Kramer had to go around a couple of players. And, you know, him being a veteran, I believe last year he was second team all-conference. I'm sure he's one of the leaders, if not the leader of the basketball team. He's going to try to make things happen. And it's going to be difficult when Ashland is going to keep that lane congested. And until senior high can maybe get better player movement, but especially knock down some perimeter shots, that lane is going to stay congested.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key for Mansfield is you got to start knocking down a couple of triples to force the Ashland defense to come out of the paint just a little bit.
Exactly.
Give them a reason to contest on the perimeter.
And you'll notice when Ashland, when they dribble penetrate, they're looking to kick.
Another nice cut, and missing an easy one inside there was Bates.
That was a great pass, and I'm sure Kessler Bates would love to have that one back. Now we need to get a little, okay, that's a good shot. That's one that Shad can hit. Offensive board.
Now he's going to take it again. Nice spin move. Went middle, but missed it. So the second opportunity does not yield any points here for Mansfield. Timeout on the floor, taken by the Ashland Arrows, who still got that 24-point cushion. Tigers haven't been able to chip away yet, even though things have kind of cooled off offensively for both sides.
Well, they have, and you know what can senior high do? Well, you know they would like to press this season, but so early in the year and trying to get their legs in shape, they're not pressing as much as they have in the past. But they do have a game tomorrow night against a very good opponent in Dublin Kaufman. But this is a league game, so I could see Coach Sykes maybe trying to extend the court a little bit. Yeah, Ashland does a good job of handling the basketball, but if you can just push them out a little bit and give your kids a little bit more juice, maybe they can create some offense with their defense. Maybe they'll be able to create some offense with transition and get some easy baskets where they so sorely need right now.
No question about it. Tigers took a big punch in the first quarter. Have not really been able to respond much here in the second, though they're starting to play some better defense, at least keeping Ashland under control, not lighting up the scoreboard.
You're right, and that was good pressure right there and a good closeout, and they forced a turnover. Now they're down here attacking the half court of Ashland's defense, which Ashland's done a nice job. Looks like they have a set play. They're running a little flex, which is going to be screen the screener.
Ware got a shot block, but right into the hands of Upchurch, and he delivers with the left hand.
And I'll tell you, I had the pleasure of coaching his father, Ricky, who was a great athlete, and that's something that Emil did last year for Ontario. And if he can continue to hit the offensive boards tonight, it's going to help the Tigers. That's good ball pressure right there on Eli White. That's good pressure by Kramer. Good contest. That's great defense by senior high. And that's all you can ask.
Kramer with the kick out. Upchurch again off the drive. Too strong off glass. Fighting for the rebound, but it's taken by Ashland. Trying to get out in transition. They'll get a three from the corner, but it won't fall for Dembo.
Now you got to get the ball down the court. Find the open man again. Try to get to the hoop.
Hines tried to leave it off for Chapman. And now the floater, too strong for Ware.
And that was a nice move. He's just got to finish that, but nice move to the basket.
Dembo coast to coast. Too easy for a kid averaging 22.5 a game.
And you saw him just when he crossed half court. He did a little hesitation move, got the defense to stand up a little bit, and took it right to the hoop.
Nearly a pretty play there for Kramer. Excellent crossover. Got him all the way to the cup. Couldn't find the bottom. And now at the other end, it's going to be Sturry heading to the free throw line.
And Ashland just beating senior high down the court right now and finding the open men. You know, you look at the stats and you look at Ashland, and they have guys that can score, and they can score in bundles, but I've been impressed with their passing. I think they do a good job. They're unselfish. They find open people, and they have their head up right away as soon as when they cross half court, and a lot of times the pass is coming prior to half court. If you're open, they're going to find you.
And these three guards, they definitely have a good feel for one another. All three of them starters last year, even Sturry as a freshman. So they've had some minutes under their belt, and they got some continuity, you can tell.
They do, and obviously they have the confidence right now. Of course, being 8-2, you should have the confidence.
Tough pass there by Bradley, missed the target. So it's going to be a turnover here for the Tigers. Getting pounded here on the road. Big OCC game. Mansfield Senior 1-0 in the league, still have not suffered a defeat. So this would be a tough one for them if they cannot develop some type of a response and Ashland continues doing what they're doing.
The only thing I would add to senior high right now defensively is they have to get a hand up. And that was a good move by Eli White. Good up and under move. But you have to have your hands up. Get your hands in the passing lanes. Take away some passing angles. See, that lane is just congested right now.
Yeah, a lot of white jerseys in there, making it tough for Mansfield to make these interior passes. And you see there's another one. Back-to-back turnovers now for Bradley as he misfired trying to find Hines.
Well, you see this all the time. Kids are they're trying to make something happen. They want to be aggressive. And Ashland is just taking away anything entry into the lane.
Sturry drives middle, right down Park Avenue, missed it. Offensive rebound in the stick back, good for Djurdjevic.
And right next to me, one of the assistant coaches, Coach Owens, just dropped his piece of paper because he knows that's something senior high should be doing. They usually is good at. That's not Ash's strong point, offensive putbacks. But right there, he was able to get it.
Grown man move right there by Ware, absorbing the contact. Goes off glass for two, but, man, 28-point cushion here.
And you see some players for senior high with their hands on their knees right now. And, again, it's early in the season. We'll see with this pace how long those legs. Coach is trying to play a lot of players, but they only have so many.
How about White with the leave, and that's going to beat the second quarter horn for Djurdjevic, extending the Arrows lead out to 30 as they are en route to a 96-point game if they can continue this offensive roll. We'll take a timeout, be back with our first half stats, break down the first two quarters, get you ready for half number 2. You're watching live and free high school basketball exclusively on the OH Report.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up ShakelyMechanical.com today. Well, to try and put it politely, it was a good old-fashioned butt whipping through 2 quarters of play so far. As you're taking a look inside of the trophy case, just outside of Arrows Arena, where right now Ashland putting on a show for the home fans with a 30-point halftime edge, 48-18 over Mansfield Senior. I'm Brian Skronsky, joined by Greg Collins, and we'll take a look here at the first half stats. And I mean, a lot of numbers really pop out at you, but you look at the 8 made threes for Ashland on just 15 attempts. That's huge, obviously.
That is. We know they're good perimeter shooters, and I would think that out of those 8 that they made, 6 of them were without a hand in the face. And that's something, they're too good as shooters. You got to put a hand in the face. You look right now in the first half, Ashland has 15 threes attempted, 16 inside the lane. Now, if Senior High is going to run and close out of control, this half would change and Ashland's going to continue to get to the hoop. But you got to first take away that three-point shot as well as contesting under control so you don't let them penetrate to the paint.
It's been a totally different story for Mansfield Senior from beyond the arc. They have just 1 make so far on 10 attempts, but it seems like just about every triple that's going up for them, it's a challenging one. It's Shad Kramer, with a little bit of a lean back or trying to shoot over a contest. So offense, it's just looked different at both ends.
And, it's not anything different from their game with Madison that we had a couple of weeks ago, I guess before Christmas. They didn't shoot the ball very well from the perimeter then. And we talked about that in the pregame, that they're going to have to offensive rebound. Yeah, it'd be nice to shoot better from the perimeter. It'd be nice to be able to get to the bucket and finish. But if you're not able to do that, you have to find other ways to score, whether it's transition, whether it's off turnovers. The one thing that Senior High has been pretty good at over the years is offensive rebounding. One thing that Ashland has struggled with this year, giving 20 offensive rebounds to a good Worcester basketball team, is something that Senior High has to do a better job of. First half, they only have 6 offensive putbacks, or 6 offensive rebounds. Not all of them put back for scores. They have to do a better job with that in the second half.
We see the fan zone is dropping in on us again, and we appreciate all of you dropping in on tonight's broadcast. Watching right now, Ashland, as mentioned, putting on an absolute clinic offensively right now as they nearly have 50 points through the first 2 quarters of play, but a lot of fans out there still cheering on these Tigers. Feel like Mansfield can try to get themselves back into this game, but Coach, it's going to be tough here for Mansfield. They're going to have to change some things offensively, of course. What do you think the message for Marquis Sykes can be to try to get a little bit more out of his kids?
Well, again, I could see them maybe giving a little bit more pressure, extending it a little bit. But in the pregame, we talked a little bit about points per possession. And we said that if you can get to 1 point per possession, that's pretty good. Right now, Ashland's getting 1.45, almost 1.5 points every time they come down the court.
Nice.
So what is Coach Sykes talking about? I would think number 1 is defensively. What are we going to do defensively? And again, I could see them extending the court a little bit, but he's telling the kids, we've got to get a hand up, not only on the shooter, but as we're defending the basketball. They seem to have their hands down, and we talked about hand down, man down. You have to play with active hands. Number 2, you've got to get back on transition. Ashland's doing a great job not only running off misses, but running off makes. They're getting down the court. Now, I say that if you're Marquis Sykes, but I also, as a coach, realize these guys have only been in the gym for, 3 weeks and a couple of holidays. So, how much time have they missed even when they're allowed back in the gym? Do they have they don't have their basketball legs, that's for sure. But as a coach, you're not going to use that as an excuse with the kids. They got to bust their butt. They got to run hard. They got to get back and take away the easy points. I shouldn't say easy, but the too many good looks that Ashland's getting.
it definitely seems pretty clear through the first couple of quarters that this is an Ashland team. I mean, they are at midseason form. This is their 11th game.
Exactly.
Whereas Mansfield, as you already alluded to, they've only had a couple of weeks of practice, and a couple of those coming right around the Christmas and New Year holidays. So
right.
Still probably trying to figure out even which lineups mesh well with each other.
Well, I think you're right. And tonight with the first game for Anthony Pearson, that's going to be key. But they start off by creating a turnover. That's a good sign. Now they just got to build on it. Again, it's going to be a game of runs. And I'm not talking about a 30-point run to get you back in the game. But it's going to be a game of runs. You're playing this game now 4-minute quarters. Play as hard as you can for 4 minutes.
Dembo with the nice theft went all the way to the cup. Somehow it didn't fall, but collected his own miss, and he did have the stick back.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, running hard. You know, Dembo gets the turnover, gets the steal, goes in, misses the layup, but yet he still has time to get his own rebound.
Dembo, the leading steal player in tonight's ball game, entered tonight's contest with 30 on the season.
Now, Brian, you're talking about an Ashland team that, well, there they go again. Grayson Sturry now is going to get hot, but you're talking continue to be hot. But you're talking about an Ashland team that averages 67 points through 10 games, so that's a pretty good sample size. To score 48.5 is a lot.
No question about it, and not cooling off, picking up pretty much where they left off in that one, halfway home. But the lid continues to stay on the basket for the Tigers. They have forced a couple of turnovers, though, here in the early going of the third. Hines couldn't capitalize, but Warrior.
And they get an offensive rebound, a kick out, just not able to finish on that.
So here come the Arrows. Quick trigger. Can't be back-to-back threes, but right now doing some nice work in the lane. Another offensive rebound for the Arrows, and I think that foul's going to be on the floor.
And that's another example of if you're open, these guards, they'll find you. And they're playing with without one of their guards tonight. Now, he's not one of their leading scorers, but Chase Hunt is a starter for them, handles the ball, and he's out tonight with an illness, so they're just going to get better when he's on the court.
White trying to post up. And a hustle play is going to earn an extra possession here for Ashland. Nice stuff right there from Djurdjevic.
And good defense by Senior High, contesting the shot, but not able to come up with the rebound.
Pulling from the perimeter, but missing that time was White.
Now here's where they're going to have to run. Get down the court, try to find some lanes.
And I think that's going to be a shooting foul right there. Nate Haney's going to step to the free throw line. Showed some quickness there to try to get to the basket.
Now, one thing Ashland is keeping Senior High from doing is getting all the way to the basket for an uncontested layup. Where at the other end, Ashland at times is able to get there and shoot some layups.
Tigers getting some subs into the game now. As mentioned, still probably trying to figure out who's going to be their key contributors on the season. It's a deep team, at least for now, because Coach Sykes trying out some players, seeing who's going to mesh well with one another on the floor. Ware doing some work inside. The offensive board in the putback.
That's one player they're going to need to contribute, and he certainly has the ability. He's proven it over the years. He's playing well tonight.
No-look pass, missed the target that time from Dembo.
I can only imagine how frustrated the coaching staff is for Senior High. I look at the bench, and three of those guys played for me. Javar Hudgens, Jacob Owens, Marquise Sykes, and it was so easy to coach players like that ran hard every time. You didn't have to coach running hard and playing hard. And I know it's frustrating for them as coaches.
It's got to be equally frustrating there. Tigers come down, get a basket from Upchurch, but right back at the other end, White answers.
The ball's going to have to move a little bit more if they're going to get dribbling driving lanes. Here's a good drive by Maurice Ware.
Short arms it a bit with the shot attempts.
The only thing I would suggest is to go off 2 feet. Too many players want to go off 1 foot on that, but get to the lane, go off 2 feet to the basket.
Here's Thomas with the turnover, and in the first half we just had 7 combined giveaways. It's been a little bit sloppier here in the third.
Yeah, it has. It certainly has, and I think if there was one bright spot for Coach Sykes, it was they did not have many turnovers. Would they have 4, 3?
I think 4, correct.
Now, Ashland's a team that only averages 11. I think Senior High is closer to 17. They did handle the ball well in the first half.
Trevin Hines is going to sub out Maurice Ware. It's been one of the few bright spots offensively for Mansfield so far this evening.
There's the dribble penetration and the kick out for a good look.
And how many times have we seen that here tonight as White filling it up?
And that's pretty offense. Dribble penetration, kick. You see so much of that in college these days, you know, with the three-point line.
Floater won't fall. Tigers starting to do some more damage on the offensive glass, but again, the giveaways starting to add up here for Mansfield, though there's going to be some discussion whether that was tipped out of bounds by the Arrows.
That was a good comment from a parent.
And the Tigers are going to catch a break here.
They are.
So Creamer to trigger. Comes in short here to Hines. They set up Shad off a double pick, and he's able to deliver, but that's one of the few looks they've had that's been clean from 3.
That is, and he's a capable shooter. He has not shot extremely well this season. Some, as you said, maybe he's forced, but that was a good look. But Dimbo gets right to the paint and
not wasting any time, huh? That's the thing about Ashland is, boy, they get to the other end so quickly. Here's Thomas, another offensive board for Mansfield, but his shot gets blocked. Sturry, no look. White couldn't handle it.
But you saw the last possession, Senior High coming down, and Shad Kramer trying to make something happen, and he beats his man, but right away he dribbles right into a 6'5" guy. And again, until you can get that lane cleared, you got to be ready to jump stop in there because Ashland's not going to leave the lane.
Quick step, Pearson floater, and the board to Djurdjevic. Nice take back the other way, and shot selection for Ashland. They're getting clean looks so quickly in their offense.
Well, and that time Dinbo is, with his weak hand. He's a left-handed player, and with his right hand, he just went strong to the basket, was able to get a blow-by and get all the way to the hoop. And again, most of the time for Ashland, that lane is going to be free because we're so concerned about the three-point shot by Ashland.
Dembo looking for his 12th point here. And Luke's going to go 0 for 2 from the free throw line this trip.
Here's a good transition. Get down the court. Again, though, it's just so congested inside.
Quick hands by Ashland. Knocked it off a Ware, so it'll be a Tiger turnover. As Bradley comes in off the bench, Pearson's going to take a seat.
Anthony Pearson's got to be a happy young man that he transferred from Columbus Walnut Ridge, which was a great basketball team in the City League of Columbus last year. And right now, as we stand, the City League in Columbus has yet to practice, let alone play. So he's got to be happy that at least he's up here at senior high and a chance to play.
How about the C's parting that time, and straight down Main Street was White.
Yeah, you can tell Ashland's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Mansfield just getting blown out here on the road and struggling to find some answers at the offensive end. See if bit too strong from Haney.
They're searching for anybody to knock down the perimeter shot.
Boy, Luke Dembo with his triple there, now up to 14 points and the big three right now, Coach. They're closing in on 60 combined.
That's amazing. Those guys know how to score, and they know how to give the basketball up to their teammates.
Just about all the points so far in tonight's game for Ashland coming from their three stud guards in Dembo, White, and Sturry. Another great take. Dembo back-to-back possessions and buckets.
Yeah, I know Marquise is just frustrated, as the whole coaching staff is. Coach McCoy, Coach Massa are two guys that were on my staff way back when, and I know they feel for the kids, but they're not going to stop coaching. They're going to continue to coach, and that's what they're going to try to get through to the players right now. Don't look at the scoreboard right now. I mean, hey, we all know the score. This is only game 3. We have a lot of basketball to go. We want to get better and better, and the only way you're going to get better is by playing hard and playing at game speed. They don't have a chance to practice much in the next couple of weeks because they have a bunch of basketball games against a bunch of very good basketball teams. Tomorrow night, Dublin-Kaufman. They had a game scheduled with Walsh Jesuit here in a couple of weeks, which is an outstanding basketball team, but that game was canceled, and they scheduled a prep school, which I'm sure is going to be quite a good basketball team from up in the Willoughby area. And then I think they have Worcester. So things aren't going to get easier for senior high. Nobody's going to feel sorry for them. So, they're just going to have to continue to work at it and get better and better each day. And right now, get better and better at it each possession. I kind of alluded to it earlier that, when you're games like this, you're looking maybe at 4-minute, 3-minute spurts, 4-minute quarters where you're telling the kids, play hard for 4 minutes. We'll give you a break if you need to, but let's see what we can do in 4 minutes.
That's all you can ask at this point for Mansfield. It's just about generating a little bit of confidence before you come off the floor here tonight, but you're starting to run out of time with just under 2 minutes to go here in the third.
And the coaches know, and hopefully the players will understand that, hey, the second time around it'll be at Pete Henry. Second time around, hopefully they'll be better conditioned, better prepared because of being able to practice.
How about the interception? Sturry going up top for it, and I think that's going to be goaltending. It will be, as Ware caught it off the glass. So Grayson Sturry adding to his game-high totals. He's at 23 now for the night.
And that was just a tough play. That was just any man's ball, and he just wanted it more and took it away and went down and was able to get the goaltending and the 2 points.
Sturry is a player Ashland, I know, has had their eye on for a long time. Heard about this kid when he was a 7th grader and what he was doing in the AAU circuit. So he's come up to the high school level, now 2-year starter for them and showing out, doing some big things here as just a sophomore.
Well, with White back, Eli White back next year, they're not going to go away.
Nice feed inside, and the big fella delivers. That's Amon Thomas with his first bucket.
And that was a nice pass inside. I believe he played some JV basketball tonight. Which just shows that coach is looking for anybody. Are you going to play hard? If you're going to play hard, we're going to give you minutes.
Dembo going to try a deep 3, and why not?
Well, if you saw when Dembo had the ball, he had a ball fake, and the defense had their hands down. And for most players in high school, that was good enough pressure. But for Dembo, for White, for Sturry, no, you better have your hand up. Those guys, they can shoot it, and they're feeling it.
Mansfield finding out the hard way tonight just how good this trio of guards for Ashland is, as that one's launched from way outside, coming up well short, though, for Haney. And so now it's going to be the Arrows with a chance to close out the third with the final possession, already with a monstrous advantage. Here comes Dembo checking the clock down to 3. He's going to try another triple from about the same spot. This time he missed it. And that's going to take us to the end of 3, where don't adjust your phone or your YouTube. It is 72-27, Ashland on top. You're watching live and free high school basketball exclusively on the OH Report. Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakelymechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
So as we welcome you back for fourth quarter action here inside of Arrows Arena, it has been all Ashland tonight, folks, with a huge 72-27 cushion over visiting Mansfield. And man, what a performance right now from the big three, Luke Dembo, Eli White, and Grayson Sturry, with 23, 22, and 19 respectively. I'm Brian Skoronsky with Greg Collins here tonight, and boy, what a show these Ashland guards have put on. We knew they were good.
Yes.
But I didn't know that they were going to be this hard to defend, this consistent. Mansfield has had no answer at the defensive side all night.
Well, you're right. And they've obviously had great season, but we're talking about a game tonight where they're already scored 5 more points than what they average.
Yeah.
So they're feeling it tonight. I made the comment they were 0-2 at home. I think they're feeling the comfort of playing at home right now. And, you know, obviously you get to play loose when you're up by such a big score. And those guys are good, and they're playing well.
See if Mansfield Senior can find a spark here. They've got a freshman in there, Carryon Lindsay, sporting the number 2.
Better off-the-ball movement by Senior High that time down.
But just not a good pass on the kick out that time from Pearson, who was posting up. Tried to get it in the hands of Bradley, but about a couple feet off his mark.
I'll tell you one thing I enjoyed during the quarter break, and you expect this from Coach Sykes. He was still coaching his tail off. He's not going to give up on these kids. He's going to coach them. He wants them to get better, and I don't know the players, I just hope they can respond.
Luke Dembo has certainly had a response at the offensive end all night long. He's right at his season average now with 22. Nice player, nice look inside, and Thomas getting a lot of minutes here. I think you're right. He did play a little bit in the JV game and out here hustling, playing hard at the varsity level.
Now, I've been impressed, obviously. I think you have to be with Ashland tonight. And to know that they've had 2 losses, one in the conference to Worcester, who I have not seen yet. You have. And they're very impressive, I guess. And that will be an interesting game when they play again. And then also to Lima Senior, who's a team Shelby beat.
Yeah.
So, you know, Ashland's 2 losses against 2 very good teams. But how good is the basketball in our area? Well, obviously Shelby, obviously Worcester, and as we see, Ashland, pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think those would have to be the top 3, and boy, Sturry has barely missed at all tonight. This sophomore is putting on a clinic. He's got 25 now.
Well, I think when Coach Hess tries to take him out of the game, he might argue. You know, when you're feeling it like this, I never got a chance to feel it like that, but if you're feeling it like this, I'm sure you don't want to come out.
Off the baseline penetration, White's going to get fouled. Give me a quick opportunity to thank some of our generous sponsors for allowing us to bring you coverage tonight live and free, that being Janney Montgomery Scott LLC, member of the FINRA, SIPC, and NYSC. Also, Shakely Mechanical, plumbing, heating, and cooling services in Ashland and surrounding areas since 1995. And Mechanics Bank. There's always a better way to bank. Let's find yours. Mansfield able to force a turnover here.
Well, and I hope for senior high fans, and I'm sure that most of them, if not all of them, understand this is a different year, and senior high, unlike some schools, have probably suffered more than anybody with not being able to practice. And, it's going to be a work in progress, but the good news is the senior high faithful know what they have in Coach Sykes and the coaching staff. They know they're going to continue to improve. They're going to continue to work at it. They're going to get better and better as the season progresses.
Here's a three, and that's a good sign. Pearson showing some outside range.
And, Brian, you're right. That is a great sign. The coaches say he's a good three-point shooter. That's his first knockdown tonight. But, again, if they want to open up that lane, they're going to have people like him and Chad Kramer hit more consistently from the perimeter.
Ashland has basically emptied out their bench here with 6 minutes still remaining in the fourth. It has been quite a sight here, as that's Djurdjevic, one of the starters remaining in the game. Will it be back-to-back threes for Pearson? It will. Bottoms up straight away.
Well, again, that's a good sign, and you know, here's a young man that the only reason this is his first game playing is because, again, he transferred from Columbus, and I could understand it. He went home for the holidays to visit some family, and Coach Sykes just believed that, which I totally agree with, that, you know, he maybe had to sit out a couple of games. So, you know, obviously with that being said, he's had fewer practices than the other players. So his legs are going to come. So it's a great job, I think, to get him this fourth quarter, get him in better shape, hopefully get his confidence up, shooting the basketball. He's already knocked down 2.
And just came up with the steal. Bradley, how about that up fake? Got 2 arrows to leave their feet, and he comes through off the square.
That would make Kevin McHale so happy. Kevin McHale is so good at the up and under, and that was a great up and under.
Djurdjevic fouled there on his shot attempts. So he'll have a couple of free throws coming up. And for this Ashland team who swept Mansfield Senior last year, knocking off the Tigers by a lopsided 67-38 score and then a 56-42 score. Keeping it up here, Coach. You know, that's 2 blowout wins for them last season, so they're starting to take a couple of pegs up here over the Tigers in recent memory.
Well, they are, and that certainly has to give them tremendous confidence. And I know they have a couple of players who will be back next year. But I look at the freshmen in the JV game today, and senior high looked pretty good there.
Nice spin. Pearson starting to show some offensive game now, though it is against the second-string Ashland defensive unit.
Well, it is. You're right. But I think the coach's thinking, again, is he needs to work.
Yeah.
He needs to run a little bit. And, you know, you can run in practice, and but that's not always at game speed. And certainly game speed tonight with Ashland is different than game speed when they play a team like West Holmes, who likes to keep the score in the 30s and has been successful doing that. So I think it's a great idea. Keep him out there, let him to work through it, and he's got 6 points 8 points this quarter.
And so the Tigers at least starting to get some confidence up here. Pearson especially. And Mansfield just still with 4.5 minutes to try to keep getting the good times rolling. That time is Bradley finishing at the rim with the left hand.
And that was a nice move for him. But one thing you notice with the substitutes with Ashland, they're not congesting the lane like the first group did.
Sure.
You know, senior high is able to get to the basket that time. They weren't able to do that in the first 3 quarters.
Here's a 3 launch coming up short from Kessler Bates. Arrows with a second opportunity. This one won't fall either from Jack Gunther. But the Arrows still doing work on the offensive glass.
And they've been effective with that tonight. And that was something I'm a little surprised at. I thought senior high might do a better job rebounding, but Ashland has been the aggressor at all aspects of the game tonight.
Yeah, patrol in the paint right now. 4 offensive boards, make it 5 on this one possession, but they end up with no points, Coach, on 5 shots.
I can only think that's got to be tired legs.
Quick trigger at the other end, taking it into the lane, but misfiring was Haney. He's had a tough shooting night. I think he's put up probably 6-7 shots, hasn't made one yet. And that one well off the mark from Gunther. Bradley leads off. Pearson, the lefty, misfires this time.
He's got good-looking form. I think he's, 2 for 4, I think, tonight. He just has to be in the gym and get more shots up.
Arrows are going to turn it over off a traveling violation.
You can see, these guys are coming off for senior high. They're a little fatigued.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I think one thing that's kind of gone overlooked by some people that are maybe outside of the realm of high school sports is what a difference it makes when your team does have to go into quarantine, because you cannot do any conditioning. You can't get in the gym, period. No players are allowed to get in and get up shots, so that has impact. But I think it's the cardio, Coach, that has the most significant impact, because as a coach, you're not allowed to have contact with the players.
Right. And you're correct, Brian. I totally agree with it. The cardio affects every other part of your game.
Sure.
Especially your shot. You shoot with your legs, and your cardio, such a big effect.
The good news for Mansfield, and there hasn't been much here tonight, but their schedule is so backloaded, they're going to get a ton of games over about the next 5 weeks before they enter tournament time. So they're going to get in game shape playing some games, which is different from most seasons. But, hey, it's 2021, and it's been a season unlike any other. So I think they're just happy to be back at it. Things just have not gone well tonight, though this kid's been a bright spot for them. Almon Thomas, he's put in some nice minutes.
He has, and I wanted to say the possession prior to this, he had a nice back-to-the-basket move. Right here was a nice post entry, nice strong move. And before the game, you and I were talking about how few back-to-the-basket players there are anymore.
Sure.
And if you are back to the basket, you can take it up strong. That's going to be to your benefit, and he might be one of those guys that can do that down the road.
Thomas just had an assist on Mansfield's last possession before turning it over. And that's a nice shot right there. Camden Mowry with the up fake. Kind of hung in the air a little bit and delivers for 2.
Now these guys you can tell the senior high kids are getting a little fatigued. And in a normal game, Coach Sykes would be subbing. But, again, just for conditioning's sake, these kids need to be out here running. I used to say that when you're 15, 16, you could run all day. But, again, this year with limited time in the gym and with Xbox, it's a little bit different maybe.
It's so tempting.
Yeah.
Quick trigger comes up short right there for Gunther. But the Arrows, as they've done a great job of here in the 4th quarter, collect another offensive board. So they'll stay here on the offensive end as we're down to the final 35 ticks of what has been quite an impressive performance by Ashland. They came out of the gates so hot, never trailed in this game, dropped 29 on the Tigers in the first quarter, 19 more in the second.
And you're right. Besides their offense, I thought they played outstanding defensively tonight.
No question about it. And that's fitting right there. How about a triple from Mowry? probably end up being the last shot here of the contest, and Ashland lighting it up from downtown all night long. They blow out Mansfield in what could be a pivotal game in the OCC. Arrows a big 87-44 victor. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back, line up an interview with our player of the game, who I think is going to be Grayson Sturry. It is, so we're going to have an interview on the way with the sophomore real soon. Have some final stats. Me and Greg will wrap things up here from Arrows Arena, so keep it locked in. Live and free high school basketball coverage will return on the OH Report in just a moment.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakelymechanical.com today.
Well, it was blowout city here tonight at Arrows Arena as Ashland takes care of business in a major way. Critical OCC showdown goes to the Arrows 87-44 as we take a look at the final numbers. And three-point shooting for Ashland was great in the first half. They never really cooled off in the second half. Coach knocked down 14 of them. And we talked about how key offensive rebounding was going to be in this game. 15 of those for the Arrows tonight.
Yeah, that's what really surprises me. I thought Senior High would have the advantage, and I thought for Senior High to be in the game, they'd have to have a big advantage. But Ashland was more aggressive. They were more aggressive the entire game at all parts of the game, and offensive rebounding was one part where they early on got offensive boards and kicked out for good-looking threes. And when you're shooting 14 of 31, those are good-looking threes. And then after that, they followed it up with offensive rebound putbacks.
So Ashland shoots over 50% from the floor tonight, and you got to talk about the three straws to stir the drink out here for them in Dembo, White, and of course our player of the game who we're about to have an interview with, Grayson Sturry, who went 9 of 12, White went 8 of 12, and Dembo 8 of 17.
That's pretty efficient, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's efficient basketball. But I was really impressed. I knew those guys were scorers. You can look at the newspaper and see that they're scorers. I was impressed of how unselfish they are, how they give the basketball up to not only those three, to one of those three, but to their big guys. This is just a well-coached basketball team by Jason Hess that passes the ball well and obviously shoots the ball well.
We're about to catch up with Coach Hess here in just a moment. It appears that Ashland's coming out of the locker room now, so we'll take one more time out and we will be back. Head coach Jason Hess and our player of the game, Grayson Sturry, on the way here on the OH Report.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Shakely Mechanical. Fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakelymechanical.com today.
I am now joined by the Simonson Construction Player of the Game, sophomore guard Grayson Story, who is the leading scorer in tonight's game, 25 points. But what I like so much about your game here was how efficient you were, 9 of 12. Tell me about the zone that you were in tonight, because you were doing things all over the court, dropping threes, getting in the lane, and then some nice passing as well.
I feel like we ran the floor well. We got the ball moving a lot, and when we get the ball moving, we can get good shots, and we always knock them down because we got good shooters on our team.
With you, Dembo, and White, you guys combined for about 70 points tonight in this game. Tell me about the big three and how well you guys know where you're going to be on the floor and just kind of the continuity that you have.
We've always had a connection. We kind of grew up together, so we've always practiced together, got in the gym together and things, and we've always been hard workers, and they're good guys, good players.
Well, we thought that you guys would be the favorite coming into tonight's game, but to blow out Mansfield 87-44, how satisfying is that for you?
It's pretty satisfying. Just a big win is always going to be satisfying. We just got to keep doing that every game.
Where do you feel like this team needs to improve? You've got 9 wins in your first 11, so you've been super successful. Your 2 losses, too, were really tight games. How can you take the next step?
I feel like we can get tougher, dive on the floor, play a little bit harder, step up in the intensity, and we'll be a good team.
All right, our player of the game presented by Simonson Construction, Grayson Story. Fabulous performance tonight and a big win. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, looks like Coach Hess is over here talking to other members of the local media, so maybe we can swoop in, get a piece of that too. Take you into the action here. If you're just joining us, Ashland came out to a big lead, big 87-44 win over Mansfield Senior. Here's the head coach of the Arrows, Coach Hess, Jason Hess. We'll see what he has to say.
Oh, yeah, they're a young team, and they're going to only get better. I think, the game experience definitely was in our favor tonight, not only with the experience we had from a year ago, but also with having 10 games under our belt this year. And also, I think even some of the conditioning. They were, unfortunately for them, they weren't able to practice for 3 weeks. So, they're basically 3 weeks into the season where we're, 2.5 months into the season. So it's definitely an uphill battle for them. And I know Coach Sykes will do a great job and get those guys ready to go. He's got a really good coaching staff, and they're going to be playing a lot better basketball when we see them the second time around.
I'm sure you already commented on this, Coach, but your big three here tonight, about 70 points for them. They pushed the pace. They knocked down threes. They played great defense, too. What more can you say about the performance of your 3 standout guards?
Well, I thought tonight they did a really good job of playing off of each other. We've been, working at that in practice, just trying to have a little more continuity where they're playing, and making that extra pass and moving instead of standing watching one dribble and 2 guys standing. So I thought tonight they did a really good job. But the other thing that I thought was big was our big guys, Andrew and Luke, did a really nice job of getting us some second chances and some kick-out threes off of offensive rebounds, which really got our guards in rhythm and started making shots. And once they see the ball go through the basket, they're very capable of putting up big numbers.
I would say a bit of a statement win for you tonight, even though Mansfield Senior is just playing in their 3rd game and you guys now at the midway point of your season. What do you need to do to take the next step, though? You look like you're clicking on all cylinders. What is that next level for this team?
Well, I think, it starts Tuesday night at Lexington. That's kind of been our Achilles heel the last few years is teams that are not the up-tempo teams like Mansfield plays, but more of the deliberate, really sit down and guard in the half court like Lexington does. So we'll find out on Tuesday, if we're really have improved and are making that next step that we need to, with offensive efficiency, but also being able to guard for longer stretches.
All right, congratulations, Coach Hess, on a big win here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our coverage here from inside of Arrows Arena. Huge win here for Ashland. They stomped on Mansfield's throat right out of the gates, 29 points for them, and they never looked back with a big, dominating performance. I'd like to thank everybody that made tonight's game possible in terms of our staff. Behind this camera right here, we've got Nick Jacobs. Also had Austin Michael, one of our star interns, running camera for the first time tonight. Mason Neese was our up-top camera guy. Greg Collins provided some standout commentary. My name is Brian Skoronsky for our fabulous director, Adam Thompson. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you that we got a ton of live streams coming up tomorrow, so make sure that you tune into all of them. 5 on the way for the OH Report. But for now, we out from Ashland.